Hello, hey everyone. Welcome back to the Mindful Moments podcast. I'm Tracy. I'm your host and fellow traveler on this journey of self-exploration and discovery. Y'all, when I say that I am stoked about today's episode, I'm beyond stoked. And I've been putting in some time. I've been shooting in the gym, as they say, and I've really been thinking about exactly how I want to put this episode together. And that's pretty much right when I realized that this is not going to be a single episode. So we're actually going to explore the extremely fascinating world of quantum consciousness. And we're going to do this over several episodes, and I'm not sure how many there will be, but we'll take a deep dive. We're just going to look into some different concepts and ideas. And for today, we're going to be looking into a theory that suggests that our brains might work in a way that's influenced by the tiniest particles in the universe. Now, I don't want anyone to get overwhelmed by this. This episode is actually going to be designed to be a starting point. And hopefully, with the starting point, it'll help to make some of these more complex ideas a bit easier to understand and appreciate, and hopefully a bit more digestible. All right, so let's just kick this thing off, and I want to start out with giving a quick overview of quantum mechanics. So quantum mechanics, it's basically the set of rules that govern the behavior of the smallest particles in the universe. So imagine these particles as tiny little itty-bitty dancers. Each of them, they're performing their own unique routines on the world's smallest stage. Unlike the predictable moves we see in classical dance, for example, quantum particles perform in a way that's often seem random and mysterious. And for today's episode, we're actually going to be talking about the Penrose-Hameroff theory. And this theory, it proposes that our brains might actually function in a way that's similar to a very advanced computer. Okay, so think of your brain as a super high-tech computer, but instead of using traditional circuits, which I kind of view traditional circuits kind of like roads for electricity in our regular computers. So instead of using these traditional circuits, it's using quantum particles, and these particles are incredibly, incredibly small, and they can exist in multiple states at once. That's probably legit the most mind-blowing part of this. This means that these tiny particles can process information in ways that are way beyond our regular computers and way beyond their capabilities and what they can do. This idea suggests that our thoughts, our memories, and even our sense of self are all deeply connected to this strange and amazing world of quantum mechanics. So here I am, and I'm thinking about all of this, and I'm doing my research, and I'm reading up on all of this, and of course, I have questions, and my first question is, how does this relate to consciousness? How does this relate to me? Where does this take me? Where do I come in all of this? So, according to the theory, the microtubules in our brain cells, they might actually be the key. They might hold the key. These tiny structures, they're kind of like the scaffolding inside of our brain cells. Imagine them as a network of little bitty tiny pipes. And within these pipes, quantum processes might be happening. And these processes, they could be responsible for our awareness and our thought processes. And In other words, our consciousness, it might be influenced by these tiny quantum activities happening at a level we can't comprehend. We can't really see it in a significant way. All right, so now I want you to find a comfortable place to sit, if you're able, and I want you to close your eyes if you feel safe and comfortable to do so. And I want to start this by taking a few deep breaths, okay? And when you're taking these deep breaths, I want you to get your mind into a place where you can really picture and visualize what it is that we're getting ready to explore together. And what I want us to do is I want us to take a moment to observe how quantum mechanics might show up in our everyday lives. Now, imagine you're sitting outside and you're sitting on a park bench and it's a sunny day and you're sitting there on this bench and you've got a cup of coffee in your hand. Feel the warmth of the cup against your skin and notice the steam that's rising gently in the air from your coffee. This might seem like a simple moment, but there's so much happening at a very tiny and almost invisible level. Think about the steam. The heat from the coffee makes the water molecules move faster and escape into the air as vapor. Now, imagine zooming in with your mind's eye to those tiny water molecules. They're moving in ways that are unpredictable and random, much like the particles in quantum mechanics. Now I want us to connect this to our consciousness. Recall a moment when you had a sudden insight or a sudden thought. Maybe it's an idea that just popped into your mind. Just like those tiny water molecules moving unpredictably, our thoughts can appear out of nowhere, and they're influenced by countless small factors. Consider the decisions you make every day. For instance, maybe you decide to choose a different route home from work. These decisions can be influenced by many small and seemingly random factors, much like how particles move in the quantum world. By paying attention to these small, everyday moments, we can start to see the connection between quantum mechanics and our consciousness. It's all about noticing the tiny, unpredictable events that shape our thoughts and actions. Okay, y'all, so that's all for today's episode on quantum consciousness. And I know we covered a lot of ground. I know that we did, but please don't worry. This is just the beginning of our journey into this series that'll cover all of these really fascinating topics that I've been exploring on my own, and I'm going to be sharing them with all of you. And that's the reason that I've decided to break these concepts down into bite-sized 10-minute episodes so that it's easier for all of us to digest. And before we go, I want us all to take a moment to reflect on what we've discussed today. Think about how the tiny, random events in your daily life might connect to the bigger picture of consciousness. How do you notice these little moments shaping your thoughts and decisions? Of course, as always, feel free to share your reflections or any thoughts that you might be having. I'm so excited to talk more about this and to explore more of these concepts and ideas with all of you in our upcoming episodes. So you're going to want to make sure that you come back and stay with us on this. Stay with us on this series. I think right now this will be a 6-episode series, but all of that is subject to change, of course. Most importantly, I want us to remind ourselves that the journey to understanding is ongoing, and each step brings us closer to a deeper connection with ourselves and the universe. With that, be here, be you, be now.